Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay, but welcome to the Sunday Live Show. Welcome to Mad Red United. As always, joined by the boys. But firstly, a newcomer to the show today. Zeki, how are you doing, buddy? This is Zeki people. He was, you probably, if you recognise the face, was on some of the fan cams on the United stand with us towards the back end of last season, especially that 2-0 at home to Manchester City one, which we all enjoyed, I think. Yeah, but I'll come to you first, Zeki, mate. How's things, pal? How's everything going, buddy?
Good, brilliant, Adam. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I had a game of football today, so I'm a bit tired from that. But apart from that, doing good.
Hey, mate. As long as we're back on the pitch, mate, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. Mm-hmm. But we're in the sort of a mini lockdown here in Manchester at the moment.
I know,
guys, it's not good. But yeah, hopefully it will just be for a short spell and we can get back to some form of, well, the half sort of normality, I call it, that we was at beforehand. But yes, we've got the usual clientele with us. Owen, how are you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. All things considered, Sunday I've had a nice little rest for myself. Nice bit of a fryer, so I'm raring to go.
Yeah, Owen was out last night, people. So if he starts nodding halfway through, then he's just on the recovery day.
Don't you worry about me. I've had a bottle of Lucozade. I'm well energised.
He's on the water again.
He's got the water as well.
Glucose.
I'm well energised, well hydrated. I'm good to go.
And obviously, Tim, our man from the other side of the pond over in Canada there. But how is things, mate? Is the weather beaming sunshine again?
Today it's kind of off and on, a bit of rain, so no pool today, unfortunately. But
we've got no poolside camera day today.
Poor form.
A quick shout out to, we got a moderator on today as well, Glory Man United. You guys were probably interchange with him there in the comments section. A shout out for Marcus Podcast as well on his YouTube channel. He's in the comments there along with Glory Man United as well. So do exchange comments with them, get involved in the chat, everybody. Give the video a share and obviously like it as well. It all goes well and there's a lot of thumbs up. Believe it or not, guys, when we did that Leicester City one last Sunday after we qualified, I think we had 0 dislikes. So everyone was in a good mood on Sunday.
Yeah, but you know someone's now going to go and dislike it.
Yeah, I know.
You've just said that.
I don't care, mate. I really don't
there's no Leicester fans watching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Leicester fans. They're realists, to be honest, from ones I've spoken to. Okay, let's get into it then. The transfer window is open and the craziness has started already. I tweeted out this morning regarding the Kasper Schmeichel one. That's not even going to be talked about, so that one's gone because that's just a ridiculous Sun newspaper rumour that. We are not in need of another goalkeeper. We've got plenty of them. That's one area we're good with. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring up your guys' reactions to some of the comments later on as usual, but I'm going to come to you guys with a few names, let you have yours say, and obviously we'll bring up some of your transfer hopes and transfer sort of reality sort of, looking at it in a realist sort of way and what you hope and expect as well as usual. So let's get into it. Newcomer Zeki, I'm going to come to you first, mate. Obviously, we've not spoke too much. We've been exchanging messages on social media. But obviously, the biggest transfer story, the one that's going to drag on and on and on, it would seem, is the Jadon Sancho one. Is this priority number one for you, mate? Is this a definite that needs to happen? And with the so-called 60 million down and then another 60 million installments, all the rumours that have come out this week happening, are you confident it actually will happen as well, mate?
I think it will happen. I think United's a team who is the best option for him. I don't see him getting into a team anywhere else at the moment. Knowing it's United, we'll leave it till deadline day and play, and we'll end up paying the most expensive fee that anyone could have paid. But for me, Sancho's a must. I mean, if you look over the 10 years, what transfers we've had, he could come to one of the biggest transfers we get if we get him in for the future going forward. I mean, obviously, we've got Bruno in, who's obviously a massive transfer, but I think after Bruno, who will have the biggest effect on United is Sancho from his performance and his effect on the likes of Greenwood, who's competing for that position with him.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. It's competition for places, which I think is key. So a lot of people are going, if we buy him, where's he going to fit in? For me, it doesn't matter, Owen, mate, because at the end of the day, our issue has been when we've lost one of these players, like Zeki says there, we lose someone like a Bruno or someone up front. We spoke about it before. I've got no issue with players coming in and us worrying where to fit them, mate. It's it's going to have to be, mate. Now we're in the Champions League. We need quality in depth. We've got plenty of depth. It's just not very good, in my opinion. It's not. But I mean, Sancho, mate, it's a must now, isn't it, pal? It's looking sort of half decent again now. I mean, it's similar.
Yeah.
I see this one like Zeki said then as like the Bruno saga. It's going to go on maybe for a few more weeks, or like Zeki said then, though, if it does go to the end of the transfer window, mate, on deadline day,
that's like fucking October, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 6 weeks into the season, so hopefully not. But
I'm hoping that happen, but
after the rumours that came out this week, mate, the 60 down, and obviously, like I said, then 16 installments. Are you any more confident?
To be honest, my confidence has never sort of wavered on the Sancho thing because I just have always seemed like he's destined to sign for United. It seems like it's always been sort of nailed on for me. Get, like the number 7 shirt. It's Woodward's wet dream. England's starlet. The best English young talent at the moment. Arguably with Mason as well. But it's what Woodward wants. It's that sort of a player. And yeah, he'll drag it out probably. And I'm quite confident that it will come after we finish our Europa League campaign. Within a week or so after that. There's so many different murmurs. The 60 million down payment and then 16 in installments, but it's not quite clear what the installments entail. Is it like performance based or whatever it is? But I don't really care what it costs. Just get it done. It's not my money at the end of the day. They've got plenty of it. Just spend it.
That's it, mate. And the money is there. I'll sort of say it's there anyway, because Tim, I'll come to you next, mate. Talking about the money and being there and what we can spend. The financials and some of the money that Inter Milan have been spending has been released recently. And they've actually stated in their statements that they have paid Manchester United just over 74 million euros for Lukaku and 1.7, just under 2 million for Ashley Young. Now, there's no hiding when figures like that come out. So the United fans are going to be buying for blood if certain signings aren't made. And no one pays up front for a player these days, mate. It's always structured. We know that. So in theory, United, knowing that they're in the Champions League with that money coming in, the money that we know is already there, there's no excuse, right?
No, and as we said last week, right? I mean, you got into the Champions League. The money that we would have spent on Bruno in January has been recouped. We've got that money back from getting into the Champions League. So, the money that came in from Lukaku, that would have maybe some of that would have gone to the Bruno deal. That's all back now. So there is no excuse. And, you're at a stage now with this club with this squad where it needs to be strengthened. There's, like we just talked about, the depth is that poor. So Ole is probably taken this squad as far as he can take it in terms of getting into the top 4 and maybe challenging for, later rounders of the Europa League. It's now up to the board to spend the money and to back them.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. And in terms of backing, that is important, obviously. But we all said last week, I think it was, where our positions were in terms of where we needed to sort of look to strengthen more. And I would say in the rumours, and the main 3 rumours that have come out this week, obviously Sancho, but I mean, I don't know enough about Gabriel, Tim. I don't watch too much of the French league because I don't see it as a competitive league. I don't really find the teams in it interesting. Until PSG get into the Champions League, I don't even really want to follow them. I don't count the stats in it because it's so one-sided. And for me, I don't know enough about Gabriel. Everyone says he is decent. The rumours and the reports that I've read are looking quite decent in terms of what he's capable of, the people who are talking about him and what they think he could become. But at the end of the day, mate, he's another untold story. And what fear I've got in it is another South American who don't notoriously have a good sort of past with. Do you know much? Have you watched much French football? Do you know enough about Gabriel? Or are you, like everyone else, claiming, I do know a lot, but recently I've been on YouTube for about an hour just trying to catch up on what everyone else is talking about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know a lot about him. I haven't seen much. I mean, he's 22, left-footed. I think when Solskjaer talks about wanting to bring in a left-footed center back, I think what we've seen at times this season is when Luke Shaw gets forward because Harry Maguire plays on that side, is Maguire's left a little bit exposed. So I think maybe by bringing in a player like Gabriel, who's left-footed, young, his pass, he has a decent. I looked at some of his stats, and his pass completion rate is decent. His passing through the lines isn't the greatest right now, but he's decent at releasing pressure over the top. And then that would allow them to move Maguire over to Wan-Bissaka's side. And we know that Wan-Bissaka's side his recovery rate is better than Shaw. So that's probably why they're looking at bringing in a playmaking, a ball playing center back. And Gabriel's done a decent job of that at Monaco. So.
Yeah, I mean, Zeki, mate, I mean, it's a centre-back has sort of, I was moving away from the centre-back being a priority, but after watching a few of the last few games of this season, it has come and looks more and more like, you know what, if we lose Maguire and Lindelof, who haven't covered themselves in loads of glory over the last couple of weeks, then we're looking at the likes of Bailly, who's come in and just looked rash. Even though I do like Bailly, I just see him not being a mainstay. And then past that, I'm starting to worry. So Gabriel, young, apparently quick, robust. Is he fit for the Premier League, or should we be looking at possibilities like City have done? And I can't believe that's nailed on. It's been announced today that this week that will be finalised at 41 million for Nathan Ake.
Crazy money.
Crazy deal for me. But I mean, Zeki, Gabriel, mate, do you know much? And is he the sort of player we should be going for?
To be honest, what I've seen is just stuff from Twitter. People stating facts about him. He's tall, I know, he's pacey. A lot of people saying he's composed on the ball, which will be good. And obviously we've got Maguire, who can be composed on the ball. But to be honest, I am a fan of Lindelof, and I've trusted Lindelof, even though he does put in a couple of shaky performances. I do think maybe another centre-back coming in could boost his performances and maybe make him think, I'm going to keep my place in this team, not, oh, he can have my place now. Because really, I do not see Harry Maguire being taken out of the team, especially being captain, even if Lindelof is playing better than him at the time. But I just feel like Gabriel would be a good signing for us. Obviously not seeing much of him, but I just think for squad depth and injury purposes, as Bailly does get injured a lot, and he does switch off a lot, which we've seen at times.
I feel like after one season, have we seen enough of Lindelof and Maguire together, and what's been really a like 2 half seasons to make a decision as to whether or not we need to break up that partnership yet?
I mean, it's interesting you make that point there. I'll come to you on this one, Owen, mate. We're talking about Maguire and Lindelof, and people are saying, yeah, you know what, we'll come unstuck when we come against the bigger teams. When we play the better teams, that's where we're going to get found out. Well, we've done the double over City, conceding 1 goal in the league. We've done the double over Leicester, not conceding a goal. We've done the double over Chelsea, not conceding a goal. There's only Liverpool in that sort of top 5 bracket. And you can add Wolves to that if you wanted as well. And you know what? Wolves haven't scored past us this season. Oh, well, scored 1 in the second game of the season. But is that statement true? Because looking at the games we played against the top teams, we ain't done that bad, mate.
I don't think it is necessarily the top teams that give the problem. It's more like when we played against Chelsea in the semi-final with a big burly forward like Giroud or someone like that. That's where it causes Lindelof problems. Lindelof's not able to deal with that. He's not strong enough. He just gets bullied, and that's always my fear. That's where I think a lot of United fans lose trust with Lindelof, because he's got the ability to get bullied. And I think I don't know. Like, I don't, as you said earlier, I don't think a lot of people in England as well just watch Ligue 1. It's not really a popular league to watch. You know, it's just PSG dominated. So I don't really know much about Gabriel. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a Lille enthusiast. So I'm not a massive fan. I don't know anything about him, to be honest. Like you guys said, all I've ever seen is just on Twitter and Instagram about him. It seems all right, but again, as you say, our track record with South Americans is absolutely pony. So what? So it's a massive chance and a massive risk to take. And I don't know. I feel like we should. I don't know. I feel like the likelihood of what's going to happen is that we're probably going to bring Smalling back into the fold, and we're going to have. And I think Rojo is definitely destined to go. I hope so.
He's not even coming into the question with.
He's not even coming into. He's probably. Hopefully, he stays out in Argentina for himself, son and himself. And then I think if someone wants to take Phil Jones, they can have him. I mean, I'll pick him up from his gaffing.
Yeah,
I'll pick him up from his gaffing sale. I'll drop him to wherever he needs to go. It's all sweet. But I can see then probably bringing Smalling back into the fold and having like sort of that as the 5 centre backs, and then maybe Mengi coming in and out in cup matches, possibly. But I can't see us signing anyone there just because of that.
Smalling coming back in isn't that bad of an option for me, to be honest.
It's not terrible.
He's not terrible.
And
it's really worth buying another centre back.
I mean, what do you think on Smalling, Zeki, mate? I mean, is he an option? Are we looking to bring Smalling back to try and save money to push for other departments that we may need more of?
Personally, I'd rather save the money from going out for a new centre back and get Sancho. Yeah. Smalling, he has had an alright season for what I've seen and heard over in Italy. He wasn't even doing too bad before he left. I mean, he had a couple of good performances in big games. Barcelona, for example, at home, PSG away. But then we're also forgetting about Tuanzebe as well. When he's back fit and he's got a bit of confidence behind him, he could do a couple of games a season.
Keeping him fit.
It's just keeping him fit, man.
Scary,
he's been injured.
Yeah.
He's been injured so much. Like, we all love him and we all have so much hope for him, and he has shown such potential in certain games. But he's just been injured, the poor bastard. Like it's been through no fault of his own. He's been completely.
Though you've got, I think on that department, and like you said, mate, we are hoping for the best. I mean, I think if one player we can look to and take enthusiasm off, it's probably Fosu Mensah, because that guy is probably plagued with injuries, similar sort of stage of his career as well, and he's come back this season, and I think we've all been quite impressed with the little cameo role that he's played this season. So, you know what? You've got Axel there, you've got Timothy Fosu Mensah. If you do bring Smalling back, ship out Jones and Rojo, is that enough cover really at the back? And then, like Zeki says, then do we make sure that we don't lose out on these big deals where you know what, the players at the top of the pitch, midfield, forward, are going to start demanding a lot of money? So is that a case of we have got enough there? Because we haven't been horrendous at the back this season, I don't think. I think people have boosted the highlights of the mistakes a lot more severely than the ones of the actual stats of the games where we've been doing well. It's like when someone reviews you, innit? One bad review completely outweighs 10 good ones, doesn't it? It's, especially when you've got plenty of fans out there with agendas on certain players who they like and dislike. And as soon as the bad one comes in, then that just gets highlighted even more. So for me, I still don't think defence is as bad as what it is. I hope Luke Shaw's injury isn't as bad as a normal Luke Shaw injury. So Luke Shaw for me is massively important as well. And going forwards, Brandon Williams, right-footed, playing on the left. I spoke about this on United Stand last week, I think, as well. Is that something that we need to be looking at? Another left-back? I mean, and then you look at, like we just touched on then, Nathan Ake, 41 million. Is he any better than John Stones, who's going for 20 million? And that's a far-out shout. But is John Stones that bad? I mean, Tim, I come to you on that one. Is Ake better than... I'm saying this because he's there for 20 million, John Stones. It's a crazy shout, but you know what? It's played 30 games for England. He's a decent player. I think he's probably on a par better than Ake for me. Is that not worth a shout? A crazy shout, I know, but I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts on John Stones, actually, because I don't see Ake being an improvement.
Yeah, first of all, the Ake deal makes zero sense to. I don't understand paying that amount of money for him. In terms of John Stones, I think it's. I'm not sure if he's on United's radar, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think any City player is on our radar. But...
Yeah, like you said, I think with the amount of cover that we have right now, I think we're good. I really do. I don't think we should be in the defender market as a priority at the moment. I don't think that's a problem. I think we finished the third best defensive record. How many goals? We conceded 35 goals, I think. So for me, that's not the problem. So I don't think that we should be, I think we're good. I think we really do. bring Smalling back into the fold. Buy Lindelof. We're in the Champions League now. We know Lindelof does better in Europe, so you can rotate him through the Champions League games if he's struggling at times this season to make sure that he performs well in those games. But
Zeki's just getting some room service there.
His tea dropped in.
You're going to get anyone watching on your camera feed, mate. You're going to get it live. I'm telling you, mate. It's just what happens.
Where's ours, mate? Share the wealth.
Hey, mate, at least you've... Owen found out we had a son in the comments last week.
Look, mate. As I said before,
never going
I'm
to
a
forget that
Catholic
one.
boy. Nothing like that happens in my life.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So that's pretty much... I think we're all in sort of agreement with the defence there. We're not too massively concerned at all. But Owen, you picked up on an issue that United have had when dealing with big, robust centre forwards, and one of them, I love this guy. I'm not going to lie, but that rumour has come out again in our forward line rumour mill this last week. Raul Jimenez from Wolves. Now, this is the closest I've seen to Wout van Nistelrooy, and I've been to Molineux. I've watched this guy constantly, and it sticks to him like a tennis ball to Velcro. His foot is a Velcro boot, and it's like a tennis ball. I've never seen a control like it. He's the best at holding that ball up I've seen in the Premier League this season by a mile. And you know what? I don't know why these rumours keep coming around. I personally can't see it happening because I don't think Wolves will sell, but we talked about this a while ago, Owen, mate. I mean, Raul Jimenez, he then comes into this team, and then that debate comes up again. Do you dislodge Anthony Martial? Because he's playing the best football that he's played for United since he's been with us. Raul Jimenez, does he come straight into this team if we buy him? Because he's going to cost some money, mate. What's your opinion on Raul coming in, Owen, buddy?
I mean, look, I'm a big fan of him. I mean, we've watched Wolves more than anyone I say that isn't a Wolves fan, because how many times we played them over the last 2 or 3 years? It just seems like we played them all the time. But I think he'd be a top quality player to bring in, and just to have him as an option. But then again, you've already loaned Igalo into the end of January, and I feel like, I don't know, Jimenez is another South American, but we have only ever had one other Mexican, and that was Chicharito, and we all loved him, and he did a job for us. So there's the argument there. Yeah,
well, you could say that's a Central American. Velasquez, he's not American, so we can't say that to Tim, but he will read you the rules on how America's divided and what's not American. But I mean, I'll come to you next, Tim, mate. I don't know if I spoke to you about Jimenez, but a player you like, a player that would come into United, or is he going to be sitting on the bench if he comes in at United?
Well, for me, he doesn't come in and place Martial. First of all, there's a couple of reasons why I don't like the deal. Number one, at 29 years old, it's a £60 million fee. I think they're looking for him. That's a hell of a lot of money to give out for a 29-year-old forward. Secondly, like Owen just touched on, we've got, if Sancho comes in across that front line, you've got Igalo till January, Martial, James, Sancho, and Rashford. So you've got 5 options sort of that you can rotate through that front line. And if we have to go direct, we can with Igalo. We have a center forward option. I'd be further if they're at the end of the season, if they think that they needed to go out and get another center forward. At that point, Holland's got a ridiculously low, or another forward, I should say. He's got a ridiculously low release clause. Take the 60 million that you were going to use. I think it's 57 million pounds for Holland to release, and go make another approach to Dortmund at that point. That I don't like. I know United has bridged a little bit, or gone away a little bit from the policy of bringing in, or even signing players over the age of 30 to 1-year deals. Matic, they just signed to 3 years, but for me, it's a lot of money, and I don't think, how much better is that gonna improve us? I don't know.
Well, it's one of them players that's going to come in. If we want quality to come in and replace players, then Jimenez is one of them. Will he want to be sitting on the bench at that age? I don't see him going straight into the team other than a Chelsea in that top 4, to be honest. I don't see him being guaranteed football at any of the other clubs above Wolves. I mean, he's not going to dislodge Harry Kane, even if you question that one. So is, you know what, he's got a lot of thinking to do. And is he probably happy at Wolves? Possibly, but I like him. I do think he would be brilliant. The age, I do actually agree on that one. That's the only thing that's holding me back on that. I mean, Zeki, mate, is Raul Jimenez a player? I mean, if you watch much of him, do you like him? Is it again too old for us, or you know what, 2 or 3 years of a player with that quality?
For this one,
what we need.
For this one, I actually can say I've watched him. I watched him a couple of times. He's very tidy, very smart as well. When the rumours first came out, when I was telling my friends about it, they said he's just an improvement on Ighalo, which I thought is really not true. Obviously, I do like Ighalo, but definitely if we bring in someone like Jimenez, if you look at Martial, he's been a good United player, but when we brought Ighalo in, he's gone to amazing. And if we bring in another brilliant striker, then who knows what Martial could become. And I just think if he's not going to be too expensive, he won't be a bad option for us. I mean, age is obviously an issue, but how old was Van Persie when he came into United? And obviously he did well when he came in. He won us the league. And
Same age.
Same age, exactly. So obviously the game's changing and United's teams changed from back then, but still, I don't think age should really be a problem for him.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of them. I'm just going to get into some of what people have brought up now in the comments section. There, Alien Tenno just mentioned it there, actually. I mean, talking about Wolves, I mean, Ruben Neves, I'll come to you on this one, Owen, mate. I love this guy. I'm not going to lie. I think he's got quality writ all over him. He's had a quieter season this season because, well, the season before, every time he hit the ball, it went into the top corner. So everyone's obviously looking at it going, oh, he wasn't as good as the season before. No one has a season like that 2 years in a row. But his quality and his involvement in that midfield for Wolves, he gets stuck in. He likes to tackle, and you can throw a ball at him in any situation, and he will take it and do something with it. He's young, so that's no issue. And he can play that sort of holding midfield role and get up and down that pitch if we need to. Is this a sort of player? Because I'll bring in Thiago Alcantara as well into this debate, because there's a player there that Bayern Munich have come out and said this week that he wants to leave. So is there definitely options in the market? I think there's options in the market here for us for this holding midfield role, which is, for me, more of a priority this summer, Owen, mate. So any of them two sort of float your boat in terms of what we need and are they got quality enough to take us forward in the Champions League and the Premier League?
I mean, for me, if we're taking one player out of Wolves, I'm taking Neves over Jimenez. But personally, just because I think that's a role that we need to fill more. Just having an extra midfielder in there is a lot more of a must than having an extra striker for me. But I think the one option that I really like is Thomas Partey at Atletico. I think he'd be brilliant. I think we all seen the way he played against Liverpool in both legs. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I think he'd be a brilliant option. And then there's the release clause of 50 million. But any sort of rumours on him seems to have gone a little bit quieter at the moment. There seems to not be a lot of fuss around it at the time. But I don't know. I feel like in terms of the midfield, I feel like we might not make a sign in there just because I feel like giving Matic a 3-year deal might have been a sign that maybe we're not going for someone in the midfield this year. And I'm worried about that because I think we definitely need a holding midfielder as well. But I think the club may just avoid doing that.
I mean, Zekia, it's like Suresh says there, 43 million buyout clause for a holding midfielder with Partey's quality. I mean, we've seen what he did against Liverpool. I mean, you got any thoughts on Thomas Partey? Is someone that's going to improve us going forward? Would you look at him, especially at 43 million?
Yeah, it's a brilliant price for him. If you compare him to who else I see as a CDM at Manchester United is Declan Rice, who I never really rated until...
Oh, you're going to upset Owen on this one, mate.
after the restart, he just looked phenomenal whenever I've seen him play.
He has looked good, actually.
He looks
Owen, who's
amazing.
the international for again?
Stop it, Tim.
Let's not bring this up. I don't like
just so
so
Zeki knows where he's going, where Owen's coming from. He's Owen is heritage. He's from Ireland, so he doesn't like Declan Rice because he changed allegiance in nationality. So
he kissed the bad sung the anthem, and then fucking a few pound gets off it down the road, and he just turns his back on his country. Said it was never a choice. Don't get me into it. I'm going to get riled up and get really fucking annoyed about it.
I'm sorry.
No, but going on footballing sort of quality. I mean, he has had a decent last end to the season. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of them, innit? Now that West Ham have stayed up, and David Moyes ain't going to want to give nothing to Manchester United. So, I mean,
it's not up to Moyes. It's up to them dildo brothers, mate. They want the money, so I'd say.
Well, this is it, mate. This is the problem that we've got in it, because with all these teams now staying in the actual Premier League, you're looking at Grealish all of a sudden gets priced out the market, and you're looking at who else was there? Who was talking about? Someone else who got priced out the market as well, who stayed up. What was it? I forgot who it was now. But you get where I'm coming from. That's what happens. All of a sudden, prices go up and players become... well, Ake says it all. A relegated team, 41 million. I think that's just City trying to inflate the market and take the competitors out of it. I think that's the ploy. I think that's the strategy from City more than anything. They can afford it. They're throwing two fingers up at UEFA, and they're bidding 41 million for a relegated team centre-back. So, yeah, I do think that's where they're going with that one. But I think Partey, like Zeki says there, at that price, Owen as well. I mean, Tim, I don't even know if we touched on you there. Did you have your say on Partey?
Yeah, he would be a good signing for sure. But I think you guys know where I stand. For me, I think the next position out, I mean, Sancho for me is nailed on, like everyone said. So that should be done. But I think that we need to look higher up the pitch, and we need to look at bringing cover from Bruno, because the contrast from a quality number 10 playing in that role to what we saw in the first half of the season, some of those poor performances that we saw with Lingard, Mata, and Pereira playing that role, it's too much of a drop off for me. So I think with that in mind, I think maybe you look at a player like Van de Beek that has a little more versatility to play as an 8, a 6, and can play in an attacking role if he had to. If we need to rotate Bruno out, or if there was an injury, he could start from deep and slot in beside Pogba, and sort of they could work as the pivot, and then, you know, if he had to be deployed higher up the pitch at some point, either tactically in a game or as cover, because I don't see, like, how many signings do we realistically think we're going to be making this? We know how Woodward likes to operate. So for me, a CDM just isn't the priority as much as it is an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to get two players this window. I do. I'm hoping it's holding midfield and the forward. I just don't see us having the capabilities of getting more than two over the line. Yeah. Unless it's some cheap deal that we know we were actually confident in getting. In terms of the players I think we should be getting, I just feel like we're probably going to get one or two, and some people think maybe Sancho is the only one that's going to come in. I mean, I'll come to you all one by one now. I'll start with you, Zeki, mate. I mean, is there any player that we've not mentioned there that you think could come in and do a job at United? Is there anyone that you would be looking at as an improvement for us in our squad?
Like Tim was touching about Bruno possibly getting injured. We've seen a couple of nasty tackles going on him this season where I thought, oh, that's Bruno gone now for a couple of months. But Kai Havertz is one that's caught my eye. But the question is, does he want to be coming and sitting on the bench at United when there's teams like Chelsea who he'd get right into the team? But he does look like a really good talent, Kai Havertz, to me, and it would be a good deal. But it's obviously the price, and does he want to join Manchester United?
This is it, isn't it? That first team Champions League football is a massive one. Kai Havertz does look like he has got something there. He does look quality, I must admit. But I pretty much nailed it there, Zeki, mate. It's a case of him now looking to move from Leverkusen, and he's only going to be wanting to get first team football, and Chelsea's going to offer him straight out. You know they are, and it does look like that's nailed on. It's a shame for a lot of the young kids at Chelsea, actually. Another one who was mentioned to us, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Owen, mate. Another rumour that
for a minute.
Touch on that one, mate. But is there anyone else who you actually think as well who could come in for us who we've not talked about already? But Hudson-Odoi first, I mean, that's just completely left field for me, that one.
No, that's very left field. But I think the one I've got is a bit left field. I've said it before on like fan cams and stuff. Because Watford have got relegated, I do really like Abdoulaye Doucouré. I think think he's quite a good. I think he's quite a good midfielder. I think he can get forward with the ball. I think he looks exciting when he runs forward. And whenever he seems to play at Old Trafford, he seems to turn into prime Yaya Toure. So I think he'd be a good. I think he'd be a good addition in the midfield. And it's a left field shout. I'm not expecting it, but because Watford have gone down, I think you could get him on a relatively cheap option. And in terms of, we want squad depth, and I think he'd be an improvement.
Anyone know how old he is?
So at 20, I think he's 27.
I think.
27.
Yeah, he's hitting his prime now.
He's not a bad player.
No, Decore is not. I mean, touching on Watford again, Tim, mate. What about Sarr as a forward option with Watford going down? Unproven, I know, but you've seen what he did to Liverpool.
Yeah,
you know what? Yeah. The guy is sort of one of them. You know what? If we wanted cover,
it's a massive jump, though, mate.
He would sit on the bench. He would sit on the bench. It's that we're looking at left field sort of options now because we know what we need.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sort of not think realistic, but we know we're United fans. Transfer windows come about. We have to sort of try and be realistic and try and think coy like Ned Wood.
I'm always dubious signing players from, like, they really have to prove themselves to me at a lower level club just because it's such a massive jump up and the pressure and attention you're going to get at United. Like we've seen Harry Maguire wasn't getting the attention for mistakes he was making at Leicester versus the attention that he's getting here, right? So
fair point.
That's a massive, massive jump.
Jack Grealish as well.
Sure. Yeah, like even for Grealish,
Decore is not 29. But I've got his Wikipedia. I've got his Wikipedia up here. He's 27.
Yeah,
27. All right then.
Stature.
I mean, them sort of players that we're mentioning there. I mean, Milinkovic-Savic. I mean, this is the holding midfield player, the beast sort of character. Someone very, very similar, I think, to Matic and sort of that Rolls Royce sort of way and style of play. I just think he's a little bit more robust than what Matic is. But I mean, it all comes down to priority again. If we buy Jadon Sancho, maybe the players that we just mentioned, the players that are not as well known, the chance players are the ones that are going to come in. I mean, how many players do you actually see us signing, Tim? In all fairness, I mean, what's your sort of reality look on it in that?
Two. I agree with you. I said really, 2.
Yeah. I mean, Owen, how do you see it going down, mate? I mean, I've been told by Saeed United are spending $250 million this window. So
that's just let Saeed. Just let him.
I'd like to know what history he's looking at that proves that.
I don't know what Saeed's doing, mate. But I don't know what he's doing, but I want some of it because he's happy at the moment. Now I can see us maybe Sancho. I think is the one that's nailed on, and I feel like in January when we signed Igalo sort of out of the blue. I feel like there'll be someone along those lines, not necessarily completely out of the blue, but someone that's why I'm saying Decore, because I think that it's something that could be that left field and just like quite a cheap option and just sort of plug a hole for 2 or 3 years maybe.
Yeah, that's possibly it, mate. I mean, we can always look at it in a slightly different way. The best way to look at it is, you know what, let's maybe go out and buy 2 quality signings, 2 absolute quality signings. And then we just spoke about it before and start the show. You've got an Axel, you've got a Fosu Mensah. Maybe a Ghana can come in to this team at some point. We've seen how well. We just don't know, do we? We don't know. It all depends on how this market goes. If I see players like Ghana going out on loan, then I'm thinking straight away, well, we must be bringing someone in because we know that bench that we've had, the so-called fringe players, the Matters, the Pereiras, the Lingards, they ain't cutting it. And you know what? They're not good enough to come in and cover for the players like Tim says, Bruno Fernandes. The drop down in quality is too much. Is there anyone, or is any of you thinking there's a few younger players in that sort of midfield area that could do a job? Some people have actually said Fosu Mensah in a holding midfield role. I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, Owen, Fosu Mensah, is he a bit erratic? Is he the sort of player that can control in front of that defence? Because we've seen what he did with the tackle that set up the West Ham free kick. It was out the blue, rash. Do you need a bit more discipline and the style like Matic plays in? Calmer, more of a Rolls Royce sort of player? Or do you want someone in there who's a destroyer?
No, well, for the way we're playing, we need a player like Matic. If you're having Pogba and Bruno in front, who are both, you know, striving forward with the ball, looking to make the forward runs, make the forward passes, you need a sort of, you know, a controller, that Rolls Royce of a midfielder, controlling everything from the back and, you know, protecting that back four. So I don't know. I think Jimmy Garner looks like you know, Matic has come out and said he likes the way he plays and he sees him as his successor, sort of thing. But yeah, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, I think he is a good squad player for us, definitely. In terms that he can play right back, left back, or he can play anywhere across the back four. Really, he could do a job in the holding role, but I wouldn't be confident to say he could be our holding midfielder for a whole season.
If Tuanzebe gets fit, didn't Tuanzebe play there for us a couple times this season before he got injured? I thought he played there for Villa, didn't he?
I think he was mainly centre back.
He was. But I think they deployed him, and I think a couple times for us he came out. He played. I thought there was a game earlier in the season where we used him as a holding midfielder. A couple of games.
Yeah, when you say that, it does actually come to mind. I think you might.
Yeah, and I know at Villa, like, he was centre back, but I know they played him there at times. So it's an option.
Be interesting to see what happens to Angel Gomez, because obviously there was the rumours about him not signing the contract and the Chelsea rumours. But I'm interested to see what happens with him, because at youth level he did look very well, but then when he's been given a chance in the squad, he's not looked proving himself.
That's kind of why I was saying, I think if you're only bringing in two players and you're going with Sancho and another midfielder, maybe you have to look at an option where there's versatility in a midfielder that can play in multiple positions, right?
But I feel the thing with Gomez is I feel like he got such a traction, the youngest ever player to play at Old Trafford or whatever, and the youngest league debut for United. But I feel like over the last couple of years, in terms of his numbers in the 23s, he's had a massive drop off, and I think essentially he's had such a fanfare around him that we still sort of think that he was going to be that player that we all originally did. I think he's had a massive drop off. I think he will still be a good player, but I don't think he's going to be, the elite level that we all believed him to be when he first came through the youth ranks.
I mean, I'll come to you on this one, Zeki, mate. Two players who we've talked about before on the show previously, and we're talking about this holding midfield role here. The ones that have been covering it, can you see them getting any better? And that, I mean, in Fred and McTominay. I mean, where do you rate McTominay and Fred? I don't see them as holding midfielders personally, but can they adapt to that role? Are they the sort of player that you think can sort of play a similar sort of Matic, or is Matic just one on his own, Zeki, mate?
It's a hard role. It's a very hard role to fill. I mean, Matic is very experienced. He's been in the Premier League for I don't know how long now, but quite long. And then we've seen, for example, when Scott McTominay started against Crystal Palace away, he didn't allow Pogba and Bruno to get the freedom they wanted when they were moving forward. And when Matic came on in around the 60th minute, he changed the game and allowed them to have freedom higher up the pitch. But with a player like Matic, who, like I said, has got experience, for McTominay and Fred, that's something they can learn over this break we've got at the moment, to see what he does and how he drops back. Because Matic does sometimes get forward, but he's mainly a defensive player that allows Pogba and Bruno to do what they want without having to worry about, oh no, there's nothing behind me, because McTominay's run on as well.
Yeah, it is one of them tricky ones. I mean, a lot of people agree with me saying that they're both box-to-box players, but they ain't going to come and dislodge. They ain't going to dislodge Bruno. They ain't going to dislodge a Pogba. Quickly before we finish up, fellas, I mean, we have got to look at what we've already got and how important right now is it that we just concentrate on the quality players that we need to bring in, whilst trying to nail down a contract for Paul Pogba, because that is, I think, vital right now, because he has had his moments, don't get me wrong, but still, we nail down Paul Pogba now for the rest of his career, which it probably will be at his age, especially if you nail him to a 5-year one. I mean, Tim, is it crucial right now that Pogba gets that deal nailed down, and probably more important than any signing that we're going to make?
That's hugely important. I mean, you never want to lose your best players. We've seen the improvement in his play, certainly since linking up with Bruno. He's a luxury. He's a Rolls Royce footballer when he's playing well. So I think getting him settled will also settle the squad. If it's not hanging over, it seems like this cloud that's been hanging over the club for some time now. Will he go? Won't he go? Riola's come out with some weird comments on his future. So, yeah, it's massively important. Get it done and dusted, and then kick on and let's move forward with let's keep everything rolling downhill.
Yeah, Owen, Pogba's crucial, mate, for you.
I think he's happy now, so I think he is going to sign 100% because when he's not happy, Raiola is chatting absolute breeze to every newspaper in the world, telling, linking him to Real Madrid, linking him to here, there, and everywhere. I mean, and I think he's quiet at the minute, so that for me shows a sign that I think he's definitely going to sign. If he signs a 3 to 5 year deal, I think he's probably here for the rest of his career, really and truly. And I think hopefully now I feel like he sees a project and that we could win a league title within 2 to 3 years.
That's it, mate. That's looking at it. I mean, Zeki, Pogba for you, mate. Now he's been playing back. Yeah,
Pogba's a must. I mean, sometimes he has his off games, but come on, it's Paul Pogba, who arguably is the best midfielder in the world. And towards the start of when he came back to Manchester United, he was posting on Instagram after a game, and then he stopped when he had that under Mourinho. He wasn't too happy. And recently, after the restart, when he started to play again, he's posting after every game. He's having a bit of banter with the players. He seems like he's enjoying it. Like Owen said before, Real has got his mouth shut. But the ideal scenario for me is Pogba signing the contract and he gets rid of that agent he's got. I can't stand him. Because Pogba does go through another spell, he's the one that's going to be telling him, oh, I can get you to Madrid only for the money.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see... I mean, I don't think Zidane's going to last too much longer. He's won the league now. He's won the Champions League so many times. I think his days are numbered at Madrid. With that aging squad, I don't think he'd want to take his own managerial reputation down with it, which I think will happen now. I just feel like Barcelona in transition and it's the big guns are going. I mean, how long can Ramos keep pulling Real Madrid out of the mire? You know what I mean? The guy's getting on now. I think Zidane is on his way, I do think. So I don't see Pogba having an attraction to go to Real Madrid. I really don't. I don't think that's a bigger deal anymore. But we've pretty much come to the end of the show, people. So I'm just going to do a bit of a round robin here, just give the guys a chance to shout out their socials. So I'll come to you first, Tim, mate.
Tim at Niagara MUFC, as you can see. And really quickly, just want to say, guys, haven't seen the miniature Old Trafford that at Stadium for Ants has made as an architect here in America. He's raffling it off for the Royal Manchester Hospital Charities. Go on my social or at Stadium for Ants and you can see it. It's amazing, this miniature Old Trafford and the surrounding area that lights up. Get on there and support a good charity.
I've seen it. I have seen that as well. It is quality. It is quality. Owen, just give the people a shout out, please, buddy.
Yeah, Cockney Red 99, all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube as well. Give us a look. And Owen Roch1 is my normal Instagram if you want to see what I got up to last night as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that one, people. But anyway, it's Zeki, just give the people a shout out on yours, buddy, mate.
Oh, no.
Here he fucking is. Here he fucking is.
Oh, God.
That's Saeed, by the way, people, just so you know. Let's not interrupt. Zeki, hit him up, mate, with his socials. Sorry about that interruption, pal.
MUFC on Twitter, and also, like Tim said, I got a quick shout out for Retro Factory. They sent me this shirt recently. Nice fit, good prices over there. Nice. Check them out on Twitter.
Yeah, anyone who ever wants to send me anything, it's my birthday in 2 weeks, people. Just a shout for that,
I don't get sent shit. What's this going on, man?
You're not important, mate. You're not important. You're
mate,
too young.
Too
young.
You're going to end up like Owen's birthday or what?
To be honest, mate, Manchester's in lockdown, so it's
true.
It's whatever.
Oh, yeah,
it's whatever happens.
Have they closed the pubs again or what?
No, they've not, mate. It's just awkward. Everything is awkward. It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's no clarity on anything as usual. But I just wanted to shout out Glory Man United for moderating in the comment section as well tonight. Cheers for that, buddy. And with Noah smashed well over 200 people watching as well today. So give the video a like, give it a share, people, and obviously subscribe to the channel if you are watching for the first time. You'll catch me on the United stand with Said, Ricky, and Mark in about 10 minutes' time. I don't know what we're going to be talking about there. Maybe me and Ricky will have another Barney on camera again. I don't know. It's not, but we're all friends. We're all friends. Anyway, people, thanks for watching. Don't forget, I will be back in a week. We'll be talking Europa League because football's back again this week. Interesting. We may see some fringe and youth players this week because that game is pretty much done and dusted, as we all know. But that's for then. We're done for now, people. Take it easy. Good night. Have a good week. Stay safe. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.